Okay, so I'm sorry, but I made a little bit of progress between the last video and this video without recording it. I unwrapped the shoe and put a new lace in. That's just not really progress. That's just something I was checking out. But I unwrapped the shoe from the gauze. The midsole was glued on. I made sure that, you know, there's enough midsole up here. There's a certain spot where, it's just barely enough right here. It should have been a little more this way, but it's not going to be a problem, I don't think. It'll just mean I have less to sand off when I do the sanding. I was glued on, and then I got to it last night because I felt like doing it, and I didn't want to make a video because I was watching TV. But, so yeah, I'm just doing the same thing that we were doing before. I was pegging down the midsole all right here. I've done one row of pegs. I need to do another row of pegs. These two lines right here indicate where this stitch down thing stop is. Did a little scrape, and then I took my fingers and I pinched around the side to just kind of try to make a line. I scratched it in with an awl, traced my finger of where the edge of this shoe is and like how far out I should be setting the pegs, because you want to get the pegs out as close to the edge as possible. You can see them if you really get in there. Because you want it to hold down the edges of the shoe, especially like in this part of the instep where it has to kind of come up a little bit. These pegs are the things that are going to hold it up. So you want to get these right there, but you also don't want them to be so close that you see them poking through. So yeah, I guess you could use dividers or any sort of measuring thing. I'm just doing it by feel though with my finger, using a fingertip and trying to line them up and go around. And so I did one row of pegs. Like I said before, I did them the same way as I did before. I have two awls. I have one that's kind of sharp and one that's kind of a little bit fatter. And I'm just coming in here and I'm taking the sharp awl. It has a little bit of a burr on the end of the tip now. I don't know, it's not gonna focus on that. It's just gonna focus on my dirty nails. Yes, it's a little bent from all this, but still sharp enough. And so I'm coming in and driving it in at more vertical, but like at an angle, sorry, my finger's covering the camera. This is really hard on my hands. Making a hole as deep as it feels like it's gonna go, but without hammering it, because I don't want to hammer it into the last again like I did last time. Then taking this like less pointy, this is pretty dull, but it's a little fatter, and coming in here and getting this hole out, really pushing it in there so that it's now peg sized. Take one of my wooden pegs, pop it right there, and yeah, driving in there. It's doing less on the ballooning out. It's kind of snapping off a little bit. You see these ones ballooned out a little bit. Most of these just kind of snap off and I kind of hammer them in. I don't think it'll be a very big issue, but anyway, I'm going to go through and do a second row of these pegs all the way around. And I'm not sure if I need to do a second row, but it feels like I should. I did a second row on the other one, on the other shoe. And so I'm going to do a second row on this shoe. And then the other thing I did is I came in underneath the cap toe, and I told you that the structural material, that brown stuff right there, was coming down a little bit far, and it was gonna have to bend to make this corner. Well, I went in with the razor blade, a utility knife, and I just trimmed it off very carefully right here so that it wasn't having to bend. It wasn't gonna be part of this stitch down area that bends out like that. So I trimmed it right around that line, that fold. And that wasn't a big deal. That was a little momentary thing. Still have to do one boot hook. But yeah, so I'm gonna hammer those, and then I'm gonna come back, and you guys don't need to see me hammer a bunch of pegs. It's the same thing as I was doing before. But you can see how the midsole's attached. I'm gonna have to get way in there. I stitched on the outsole for the other shoe. So here's the other shoe. I started to sand it a tiny bit This is the outsole stitch down. You can see how much I got in there, like underneath, really at an angle. Especially this side where it really dips in, because I actually have one set of holes that I didn't end up using because they were too far out. They were gonna, when I sanded it down to fit, so I had to sand that down even more. When I sanded that down, it was gonna be way too close to the edge. It was gonna be a structural problem. So I really got the awl in there, and I made the turn come in a lot closer on that instep. And I'll sand it down, and I'll still see some of those holes. It's gonna be a little bit of an aesthetic problem, but nothing structural. And then you can see the bottom, the stitching. You can see where this is where I was really coming in right here, and because it's exaggerated, because not only are you getting in further in there, but you're also coming in at a steeper angle so you don't scratch the boot. So you're just coming in really deep, and then it makes that funny angle. I need to be better about just coming at the same angle every time, but who cares? It's the bottom of the boot. This is not an aesthetic thing. Yeah, I'm gonna come back to about here, and now I still have to cut out a couple pieces per shoe of sole bend to make the heel. This one is just, it needs to be sanded down further around the edges, and on my belt sander, and then attach the heel and do the edge work, and then this one's gonna be done. Oh, and put in the insert, but that's nothing. Yeah, so this shoe is almost done. This shoe's getting there. I'm gonna work on the pegging now, and then I'll make another video when I start to do the stitching of the toe, because that's gonna be a new process, whereas pegging, you've already seen me do it a number of times, so you don't need to see it again.